Mining.com.au is coming to you once again from the RIU Explorers Conference, currently underway at Fremantle. Standing next to me is the Managing Director of Lion Selection Group, Hedley Widdup. Hedley, it's great to see you again. How are you?
I'm good, Shay. It's great to see you. We've been on camera a few times together. It's very enjoyable.
Just a couple of times. I felt like saying, here's my mate Hedley, but I thought that might not get me promoted at the end of the year. So the conference is in full swing, and I know one of the presenters kicked off the conference today basically saying that we could be at an everything commodities bull market, which is pretty impressive, or almost everything. But I've got 4 metals in particular I want to talk to you about. First of all, gold. What are your feelings about gold?
I think it's pretty easy to see we're in a bull market, so there's a little bit of a no-dur there. I think I generally agree with his concept, which was mostly everything in commodities is going up. Gold's an interesting one because it is behaving in an anti-globalization, anti-dollar. There are so many things driving it at the moment. When central banks buy it, it tightens the market, and then you have conflict in the world and lots of other people want to. So gold's an interesting one. The thing is, how far out does that go? And in gold bull markets, they tend to last, I think, until you flood the market with supply and you just meet all of that buying demand with gold production. That has a feedback loop all of its own, but I don't see many mechanisms how gold production is going to expand rapidly or soon, which tends to make me think that this gold bull market's got a way to go. Now, whether that means multiples from here, steadily up from here, I don't know, but I think it's pretty robust.
I like your point on gold supply, and that is something you wrote in an article for us last year. So we'll put a link to that article underneath this video because I think that's well worth reading. Next metal I want to talk to you about, copper. The metal of electrification, Dr. Copper. All right, what are your thoughts on this one?
Topical, isn't it?
It is.
So the thing that fascinates me about copper is that as you get a new entrant into the copper market, because it's one of the 5 big commodity markets, and those big commodity markets are so diverse in terms of who buys and who sells. It really is a supply and demand market. So that's why they call it Dr. Copper. There are so many economic factors which indicate it, and it's a bellwether for what that's doing. For 20 years, copper has been butting up against a level which has been slowly rising, but you get to that level, the people who build power lines go, oh, can't buy copper anymore, dig into stockpiles, fall away from the market, price comes back. What we saw early this year, late last year, was pushing through. I think the level was about $11,500 a tonne. We've gone to $13,500 a tonne. That's a precedent. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to be at that level forever or for the next 20 years. It just means that that has happened. So we no longer need to think of $11,500 as a precedent top price where the market will fall away. Probably has been a short-term squeeze that's brought that on. But again, we've pushed into new territory. And when you push into new territory, that point where buyers fall out of the market constantly rises until there's real pushback from them. So I think copper's a really exciting place at the moment just because we've set that precedent. And this is what could bring about incentive pricing for new projects to come along. So the financiers are jumping in behind copper right now. And
finally, tin. Now, I know tin does have a bit of a following on Twitter, but it's not really a metal that people are talking about. Is this something that's on your radar right now?
Yeah, definitely. We don't go looking for metals to invest in. If you want to do that, you should just be buying the metal because you put all sorts of stock-related issues in the way if you play a market via a commodity. The tin market, though, we do like. So if something comes along that's in tin and we like it, then it goes to the top of the list pretty quickly. So we have invested in that space. The thing with tin is if you plot a 30 or 40-year price of copper and then plot the same thing for tin and put one over the other, you're going to find they're very, very close together. So we've just been talking about the fundamental for Dr. Copper. I don't think you could call it Dr. Tin, but it's like obscure doctor or something like that. Tin is a metal which feeds into many of the same places, and it is going into all the new uses which people talk about. So if data centers have squeezed copper momentarily, tin is getting taken along for that ride as well.
Could we extend the analogy to call it nurse tin?
You could.
It's a bit of a stretch.
Careful with these analogies. So we're one step from
one step from not being publishable. Well, just to bring this home, silver. Now, look, silver can be a volatile metal, and we've certainly seen that volatility in the last 3 weeks alone. In fact, it's behaving like a meme coin. Do you have any opinions on silver right now?
Yeah, I do. And I feel like I offend someone every time I say this. So
Me too.
It comes with an apology and it's an opinion, but you look at the gold market and part of the reason why the gold market will go up as long as there are price insensitive buyers, which is what gold buyers are. They want to own the gold, they're not so worried about the price. That doesn't exist so much in silver. 70% of the gold which is bought gets put into bars and hoarded and people just want to own it. 70% of silver that gets bought gets used. So that same thing that caps the price of things like copper kicks in silver at some stage. So this volatility that we see is an interplay between speculators going wild and buying silver maybe to make their meme coins, and the people who use it and make solar panels. Do you think they want to pay $100 an ounce to put it into solar panels? No, so they're not going to continue to do that. No, if this is a big use of it, then it becomes really important in your outlook for silver. So I get that there is gold goes up, silver goes up. I just don't get that the proportions need to be the same. I've never thought that, and I think it can be risky to fall into that trap for a long-term prognosis.
Listen, Hedley, this is a busier conference and I know you are highly sought after, so I'm going to let you get back to everybody. Thank you so much for your time today, and I will catch up with you next time.
Thank you, Shay. Great to chat to you.